I've washed in a mixture of yellow ochre and cadmium yellow on the foreground and left that to dry. Slightly cooler mix with more cerulean blue and light with yellow ochre in the distance. And then on dry, working cerulean blue, ultramarine, a little bit of yellow ochre to make blue-grey green in the distance. I'm looking to use stippling marks to suggest the trees that are a bit nearer with a slightly warmer green mixture, and thinking of the gaps around in the edges of trees. So building up stippling dabbing marks. And accounting for slight differences in greens in a landscape. So some green is perhaps a little bit cooler, some's warmer. I'm just trying to think of what you're not painting with the silhouette of a tree. A little bit of warmer colour there. And then this near hedge sort of blends into those trees. And using the brush on its point, make a controlled mark. Bring that forward a little bit. So hedge. Slightly lost edge on the top of that edge. Distant tree in here. So these are trees that appear to come out of that edge. Got a little bit of ochre colour in them, brown. So these trees appear further away because they're cooler, and these nearer ones a little bit warmer, a little bit darker. Ochre and cerulean blue, a little bit of ultramarine. Slightly browner colour in the tree. Come back to that in a minute. There's something there just along this edge, and then another tree. Ideally painting this wet on dry, so wait for this layer to dry. Looking at shapes, there's a tree there. A little bit darker there. smaller brush and maybe some fence posts and a distant row of fence post as well, something further back, a little further back in the landscape. The foreground field is stubble, so that would be perhaps dry brush, this idea. And dry brush doesn't mean the brush is dry necessarily, it just is to do with the angle of the brush and the speed. Just want to imply a patchy look. The paper has to be dry. So that does need a bit longer to dry off. Slightly darker shadow colour in front. So hopefully the dry brush gives a little bit of texture to the foreground, and the clouds suggest distance in the sky, and the landscape suggests distance and scale for the clouds.